Welcome to Teachings from the Masters with Daryl Shaun Price.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. So I want to talk to you today about abundance. This is a word that is thrown around a lot in the spiritual community and inspirational teachings, in self-help books, you name it. Abundance, abundance, abundance. The idea of living an abundant life, which means you have more than enough of all the resources you need to live the life you want. That's really all it means. And I'm not just talking money. I'm talking emotional resources. I'm talking social resources. I'm talking health resources. Whatever it is you need to live the life you want, you have more than enough of. But now, having an abundant life has actually nothing to do with what you get. I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but hear me out on this. Abundance is your ability to receive more. It's you increasing your capacity so you can have more than enough. Not just enough, not at least I paid my bills, but more than enough. And I think a lot of people get this backwards. In fact, I'll tell you, almost everyone I've worked with has fallen into this same trap I'm about to tell you, including myself, for a long time. And it's this. So you decide you want to have a certain life, whatever that is. You want to have $100 million. You want to be financially free. You want to have all the money that you could ever think to spend and not have to worry about it. What you actually want is the freedom. You just want to not have to worry. You're so stressed out about money. You're like, if I had this much, I would never have stress again. You're reaching for a destination, not a state of being. Now, this doesn't mean you can't have the $100 million or whatever it is. That's not the point. But being in a state of abundance is not about what you're going to get. See, most people approach it this way, and they'll go and they'll visualize, and wow, I visualized having this massive amount of money and what it feels like, and it feels good. And then they get back in their life, and it kind of adds stress to the life. Like, well, I shouldn't have to worry about these bills, because if I really do have this and I've imagined it and it's real, then why am I worried about these bills? And so they almost are in conflict with what is happening now. And see, that's where the trick comes in. You can easily take, and we're going to use, just because it's one of the most common things that I work with people on, we're going to use financial prosperity. So you can take this idea of, oh, I visualized and I have that $100 million or whatever it is that you've decided and what that feels like, and even get really dedicated to, I'm going to live in that wish fulfilled, so I'm going to make it my reality. And I see people go back and forth between the two extremes of completely 100%. It has to be this weird luck thing that's going to happen. I'm going to win the lottery. I'm going to have it just given to me, whatever that is, which means you're trying to figure out how, by the way, so you're getting really attached to that outcome. Or they'll go to the extreme of, well, I don't know if it's going to happen. I kind of doubt. So I'm going to keep over here pushing this old life and feeding it. Again, attached to an outcome. And here's the issue. If you do not detach from the outcome, the experience cannot come to you easily. Because anything you think of that might be the outcome, anything you think of how this is going to happen, is 100% based on your current beliefs. So if you're sitting here thinking about how and trying to figure out how the magic luck miracle is going to happen and where it's going to come from, or what you need to do right now to maintain the old life because you don't see how it's coming, you're attached to an outcome. You've also told yourself, your nervous system, I don't have the capacity to receive more, because one side of me thinks it's way out there and things have to happen before it appears. Another side of me doubts that it's going to appear and keeps maintaining this. And I've seen people on both extremes and really stick to their guns on each extreme. One is, I don't care. I'm going to do all the things I need to have everything taken care of. And I'm going to put all this effort into survival while I wait for the miracle. And I've seen others go on to, I'm going to be 100% in the miracle to the point that anything that shows up that isn't exactly what I would do if that has already happened, I'm not going to follow it. And this attachment to outcome stops your miracle. Because here's the reality. If you were 100% in vibration with that life that you've imagined, you wouldn't be, I'm going to ignore everything else that's happening because I only want what I imagined, because it's already done. You don't have to keep holding on to it. And you wouldn't be, well, I've got to take care of all these things before it happens, because it's already done. You don't have any doubt left. Think of it this way. Let's say you got a call right now. You pick up the phone. Somebody calls you by name. Is this Daryl? Yeah, this is Daryl. I just want to let you know we will be depositing $192 million into your bank account tomorrow. Can I get your routing number? Can I get your account number? Can I get your SWIFT code so we can make that wire transfer? If you had that call, you don't have the money today. Would you worry about where the money's coming from? How is it going to happen? What's happening? No, because it's already done. Would you doubt that it's going to happen and go, well, I'm going to go take care of these things just in case? No, because it's already done. That's the confidence with which you must live your life, whatever that desire is. And it can be health, it can be relationships, it can be money, it can be experiences, travel, it doesn't matter what it is. That's the confidence with which you live your life now, because you're the master, you're the creator. You already did it. You already gave yourself the call. The desires you have are there because there is a version of you that already is living in those desires. What you're doing is getting in alignment with that version of you. And so because of that, you detach from all outcomes in the visible world. And here's what happens when you do. You start to get strange omens. Something pops up you never thought of before. And I'll give you one for me. So I was online the other day, and I don't go online much and search much and don't do a lot of online activity much anymore in my life. But I was online the other day, felt inspired. I was going to go look through some things, and I looked through some emails, and I looked through some stuff that had popped up, and had this offer from somebody to take this podcast and get it out to thousands of more listeners. And they're going to do it for free. And once you get the result, we'll figure out what the payment's going to be afterwards. But they said, hey, I was very inspired. I do this for a living. I market people. I get people in front of more people through mainstream media, etc. I don't know if anything's going to come of it or not. But I said, oh, that feels good. Yes, I'm going to click that. Now, of course, my brain wants to say, oh, see, well, that's how the new thing you're manifesting is coming, because now millions of people are going to hear you, and then this, and then you're that, and when you finish your book, and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care. I don't care if it works or not. I don't care if it's just I meet with this person and go, yeah, it's not for me. I'm following what feels like peace. You detach from all outcomes, and the universe gives you the experience that is exactly what you need right now, that gets you in the fastest, easiest, most graceful way to that new life. But if you were so attached to an outcome to the point that, oh, well, new me that has the $100 million or the 192 million, as per my example on the phone call, new me who has $192 million in my account wouldn't bother taking that because I don't need it. You're so attached to an outcome, you're not allowing inspiration to guide you in the easiest way. It'll still get you there. But now we're going to be a little more resistant. We're going to push it out and we're going to struggle a little more. So coming back to the original point, abundance is about the capacity to receive. I have imagined my new life. I have done all the works to live in alignment. I know what it feels like. I'm living in that energy of the wish fulfilled. Now I am ready to receive any inspired direction. And I mean any. Go out to some place you've never gone before. Go do something you've never done before. Go jump into some creative endeavor that you never even thought of doing because the idea popped up, some type of inspiration from outside of you popped up, and it feels like peace. The fastest way to experience what you have imagined, detach from outcomes and follow the peace. And I get why this is the one thing that most of the people I work with struggle with. Senses are very distracting from that inner world. Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about something Neville Goddard taught. He taught you need to be a doubt hunter. Don't eliminate doubt. Don't fight with it. Don't struggle with it. And I see a lot of people do this. Doubt shows up and like, no, but I'm this person with $100 million and no, I can't doubt. And I'm going to do whatever I can to ignore it and distract from it and blah, blah, blah. No, it's there. It exists. It will keep existing. Doubt will come up because your mind is trying to hold on to that old belief that you're now letting go of. It goes, whoa, that's us. Are you sure? What if we let go of this and don't get anything? But if you don't let go of this, you won't get anything. So back to Neville Goddard's doubt hunter. So what he says is, as soon as you doubt, recognize it. Recognize it immediately. Oh, wow, I'm having doubt that what I imagined is actually real. Okay, I've now recognized it. And in the next 5 seconds after you recognize it, deny it in some way. I'm not thinking that thought. Nope, that's not the reality I choose. Nope, I don't need to worry about that. The new me doesn't have these thoughts. Deny it in some way with some phrase that works for you. And then get back in your imagination. Seriously, stop and imagine until you're back in sync with that feeling. Now, this doesn't mean you just live in your imagination. It means you're staying in that vibration of what that feels like. And then you go about normal things. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go talk to my family. I'm going to go eat dinner, whatever. You do your normal things, but you're not focused on them energetically. They're just kind of going through the motions. You're kind of on autopilot, letting yourself respond to what is happening mindfully with no reaction or energy to it. Then, when something does pop up and it feels like peace, do it. For many years of my life, I really struggled with, and I've been a singer-songwriter as long as I can remember. And I've got some songs on Spotify, and I've had some success in local and regional areas that I've lived in with my original music. And I really struggled with it for a long time, this idea that, well, if I'm doing music, it has to be profitable, and I have to have all this money and all this fame, or it's not successful and I'm not good at music. Well, the other day, I had this beautiful inspiration. I was just feeling in the world I'm creating. I was just feeling and know it's already done. And thought hit me. Pick up your guitar and play and sing this song. Now, old me would say, well, what's the point? I guess I better go practice it so I can record it, so I can go put it in an album, so I can now sell it to thousands of people and become a multimillionaire by being a singer. Is that what your point is? No, I'm not questioning why. Don't do that anymore. Inspiration hits, follow the peace. My mind does not get to say. It doesn't get to tell me the story. It doesn't get to tell me why this might fit in. I'm just going to do the thing and enjoy the thing for what it is. So I played the songs. It went from one song to another after the inspiration. So I played those couple of songs and it felt good. And I hung my guitar back up, went right back to normal day. Does this mean anything's going to come from that is like a physical, tangible? Oh, well, because you did this, it led to this, that goes to this, that now created the life you wanted to create. No. And if it does, I don't care. That's not the point. You show your faith in the new you, in the life you want, by following that inspired action, no matter what the result's going to be. Is the result going to be something big and amazing? Don't care. Maybe it was as simple as, if you were to pick this up, play this right now, it would give you that dopamine hit that helps keep you in alignment so you're ready for the next big inspiration. So you're ready to receive. So you have increased your capacity and are now more abundant. Remember, abundance, being in a state of abundance is not about what you have, what you're getting, what the result is. It is about the ability to receive more energetically. It is about your nervous system feels safe to receive. Emotionally, you feel safe to receive. No guilt, no shame. Spiritually, you are open and ready to receive in whatever way it comes. Mentally, you are letting go of those beliefs that have stopped you from receiving in ways you couldn't understand. Maybe it's not the massive luck thing that you assume a miracle is. Maybe it's not the I won the lottery. Maybe it's not, oh, I'm going to get a settlement for this old thing or whatever it is that your brain has told you. Maybe that's how we're doing that. If you're really committed to it, maybe that's how it comes about. Maybe it's not you're going to find the love of your life on a dating app. Maybe it's not, well, if I do the diet and exercise this way, then I'll finally have the body I want. You don't know. You don't know consciously. But you do know spiritually. The point is, it's all about opening up your capacity. As soon as the capacity is open, there's the old saying, the scientific principle that nature abhors a vacuum. If you open space to receive, it will be filled. Now it can be filled by your fears, it can be filled by your faith. But if you open up the capacity to receive, it will be filled by what you are in vibration with. So if you've done all the work, gotten in vibration, you know who you want to be, you know what you want to have, you know the experience you want, open up. The idea is you let go of every attachment to any outcome. The little ones, the big ones, the medium ones, oh no, if I do this with this person, it might result in this with this. No, you're a blank slate. I have no attachments to outcomes. I go about my day to day without putting energy into the old self. I'm ignoring things that don't match the new me. And when an idea pops up, pick up your guitar and play that song. Do it. Just do it. Follow the inspired action. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to connect the dots that are already connected for you. Just follow the inspired action. I can tell you miracle after miracle after miracle in my life where I took inspired action and ended up in opportunities I never thought I'd have. Ended up shaking hands with celebrities that I've admired for years that I never thought I would ever meet in my life. I have ended up in places where I've gotten massive amounts of money just given to me for projects I was working on without ever asking. Because all I did was follow inspired action. But I didn't follow inspired action thinking, well, it's going to lead to these results. These were results I didn't even have in mind. Like I'm going to tell you one. So I am the co-owner of a game development company called Storycraft Games. We've been working on some tabletop RPGs and other things like that. We launched a Kickstarter that didn't go as well as we hoped. But the company got started because I followed inspired action to do consulting work for another company that had nothing to do with this at all. And in the process of doing this consulting work, ended up having a conversation about tabletop RPGs and how I created my own and I'd love to launch it one day, and was handed money and said, go do it. Wasn't even on my radar. The things I was working on at that point in my life, had to do with immersive acting, had to do with business consulting, had to do with trying to build a theme park. Sure, played around with the idea, and what if we did this, and what if we were to launch this, and what would that look like? I shared the idea with people I was working with and was handed money to launch the company. You do not know how. You know what you want to experience, what it feels like. You stay in that feeling, and all you do is follow inspired action. You get into that state of abundance, which is a state of I have capacity to receive more because I'm open to receiving anything in any way it comes. And I will follow what feels like peace, and I will pull my attention away from what does not, so that I stay in alignment. Remember, you are the master. You are the creator. There is nothing greater than the power of you. When you live in alignment, you will naturally create your happiest life. Because when you're in alignment, you're not attached to outcomes at all. So you're very open to receive. And that inspired action will take you to the exact places, exact experiences, exact connections that are your easiest path to your happiest life. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.